everyone, it's time again to recap the latest news from the solar PV industry compiled by the American Solar Energy Society. I'm Jay Warmke with SolarPVTraining.com, and this is what's happening in the wonderful world of solar for the week of June 14th. Utility-scale solar generation is expected to increase 19% this summer compared with the last summer, reflecting a 20% increase in capacity, according to the Energy Information Administration, or EIA. Wind generation is forecast to increase 10% year over year, and EIA also forecasts small increases of approximately 5% in hydro and 1% in nuclear generation. The report projects a decrease in coal production through at least December 2027. This summer, coal consumption is expected to decrease by 11% compared to the same period last year. Generation from natural gas is expected to remain unchanged. Reflecting the rise in electric power generated by solar and the decline of fossil fuel generated power, data released last week by global energy think tank Ember, along with a report from the Solar Energy Industries Association, showed that in May, for the first time, solar supplied more of the nation's electricity than did coal. Solar supplied 12.8% of all power consumed that month, compared with 12.2% supplied by coal-fired power plants. Solar became the third largest source of electricity in the U.S. last month, behind natural gas and nuclear. Solar has been the top source of new power for 5 years, according to CEA. According to their recent report, solar and battery storage supplied 91% of all new generating capacity added to the grid in the first quarter of this year. And 3 new deals in clean energy procurement have joined a flood of recent announcements highlighting huge-scale solar contracts between U.S. solar developers and tech giants. Taken together, the most recent deals represent nearly a gigawatt, or 940 megawatts, in installed capacity dedicated to the operations of Google, Meta, and Microsoft. Cost and speed of production are often cited as reasons for solar's recent surge. Solar is not only the lowest cost generation source for power, but it's also the fastest to bring online, requiring an average of about 16 months from project conception to full operation. A federal judge last week struck down the Trump administration's effort to restrict tax credits for wind and solar energy projects, but it may prove to be a little bit too late and a little bit too little. While the ruling is a win for renewable energy supporters, it comes less than a month before a key deadline to phase out the credits entirely under the Republicans' One Big Beautiful Bill Act. Last year's OBBBA phased out tax credits for solar and wind energy projects, saying projects could only qualify if they started construction before July 5th, 2026, or the project was placed in service before the end of 2027. Since 2013, the IRS has recognized 2 ways that projects qualified for having started construction, either by completing physical work of a significant nature or by incurring a cost of 5% of the project's total budget. Last year, the Trump administration excluded the 5% option and remained a bit unclear as to just what constituted completing physical work of a significant nature. Striking down the Trump guidance, the judge wrote that the exclusion of projects that had incurred 5% of their cost was arbitrary and capricious, but noted that it may not matter to developers because they only have a couple of weeks to comply before the tax credits are eliminated altogether. And Captain Arctic, a solar-powered cruise ship designed by for Arctic excursions, is set to sail officially in December of this year. Manufacturer Sealar claims that it will be the cleanest, most sustainable option for polar expeditions ever developed. Its primary innovation is combining traditional sailing with solar power. Specifically, the ship's 5 solid sails are covered with 20,000 square feet of solar panels. These sails are designed to harness the power of the wind as well as the sun. The sails, which stand 115 feet above the deck, are retractable, folding down to allow the ship to move through certain passages or enter anchorages with height restrictions. The Captain Arctic is a relatively small ship built for small expeditions. It's 70 meters long and can accommodate only 36 passengers in addition to its 24-person crew. The lack of conventional propulsion allows for silent cruising, which has a significant positive impact on marine wildlife compared to the noise and vibration of conventional vessels. And that's the news from the solar industry for this week. We'll see you next week.